Okay, tangle number 3 that we're going to practice is called Cubine. This is a more geometric based tangle pattern where you're working a little bit more on a grid. And let's focus. There we go. Okay, so Cubine starts with a grid of vertical and horizontal lines every 2 grid squares. Now, when you're making Zentangle drawings, as we get to that step, your drawings will be on plain paper. You won't have this grid. So the grid is just here to kind of get you started as you're learning how to draw these multiple layered patterns. But if you kind of look at the spacing and draw a grid on your own drawing, that'll work out too. So once I have my grid, I am going to color in the top right corner, the top right quarter of my big square, solid black. So it'll take a couple minutes. Now I'm kind of moving a little bit quickly. Again, you can feel free to pause and take your time in doing this. The act of filling in these little spaces like this, that's kind of the Zen part of Zentangle. The act of doing something repetitive and simple kind of calms you down, gives you that mellow feeling, that relaxed feeling, because you're making something, you're being active, but it's not really taxing you mentally, at least. It's not stressing you out mentally, because this is very repetitive. So this is your second step. First step, create a grid of vertical and horizontal lines. Second step, fill in the top right box. Feel free to take your time with these. Okay, next step. I'm going to draw a diagonal line from the bottom right of the black box to the bottom right of the larger white box. And now we start to see the cube in Cubine. Okay, and the last step. We're going to add a different value to one of these spaces to create a little bit of variety. So here's where you can take a pencil and fill in this side. Like that. If you don't have a pencil or you don't want to add pencil shading, the other option is to draw vertical lines and create a hatched shadow. Remember, hatching is drawing directional lines that create a medium value. Or you could even add some cross hatching by adding lines that are diagonal. A couple different ways. Regardless, these are 3 different ways to shade one side of Cubine. So all of those will work, and that's Cubine.